Assalamu alaikum everyone. We are here to conduct a mock interview on the topic of academic achievement versus practical proficiency. So let us start with few questions. Can you share your perspective on the significance of GPA in a software development tool?
Sure, thank you very much for the kind invitation. And I think it's an honor for me. Let me introduce myself. My name is HR, and HR stand for Human Resource, and HR stand for Hassan Raza. So I do have total almost 20 years working experience in the field of HR. I worked with different companies like Service Shoes, Pell, and City School. Currently, I'm working as a startup consultant for IT companies. So yes, your question is much relevant, and I think that yes, CGPA is important, but CGPA is not the world. CGPA is not everything. So we need to focus more on the skills. I think that this is the global era. So if you think that we need to understand what is happening in all around, so we need to understand that there is a combination, there is a combo between skills and degree. So in some organization, CGPA is important, and in some organization, they think that the skill is important. Being HR professional, if you ask this particular question to me, so I think both are important, but it depends that how we have to do it.
How do you differentiate a candidate having a lower CGPA but high professional skills and a candidate having a high GPA but low professional skills?
It's a very good question, and I think that's much relevant question. I have hired almost thousands of candidates in my whole career. I always focus on 2 or 3 things. One thing is that I want to see that he or she is culturally fit or not for my organization. So this is my one perspective. Agree that maybe said CGPA is important, but the second most popular thing is that the behavioral assessment. I always go for the behavioral assessment. I always find the candidates that who are much good and perform very well in an interview. And the third, the most perspective thing is that I always ask, in my interview, in my hiring criteria, I always ask for the role plays. I always ask candidates for kind of case studies as well. So I think this kind of activities can also help us.
Do you consider that candidates or students should rely on GPA or not?
Well, I think that no, because there is a pressure from the parents as well. So when I was a kid, I used to talk to my mother, and she always said to me that you have to become like your uncle's son. He's very capable, he's very good, so you have to like that. He's having a very good CGPA, so you should act like that. So this is we need to change with the changing dynamics. So I personally think that CGPA is not important, but I don't want to demotivate some of the candidates that who are just who are just focusing on getting a good marks. The marks are important. हाँ, अगर मार्क्स कहीं नहीं आ रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप दिल तोड़ के आप फिर समझे कि यार मतलब हमें ये मसले मसाइल आ रहे हैं, इश्यूज़ हैं. नॉट एट ऑल. एंड यू शुड कंटिन्यू, यू शुड मूव ऑन. येस, एग्रीड. समटाइम कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जिस तरह से होती हैं, ऑलवेज फोकस ऑन दैट कि या 2.8 2.9 वाला बंदा हमें चाहिए sometime, but all the time this is not important. If you talk about practically, आप सारे यहाँ पे लोग देखेंगे जो हमारे यहाँ टेक में काम करते हैं, उनके शायद CGPA इतने अच्छे ना हो, इतने कोई बेहतर ना हो, but they are good performers. अगर हम सेल्स की बात करें, रिटेल की बात करें, बाकी जगहों की बात करें, तो बैक बेंचर्स जो हैं वो तो सारे वहीं पर उसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में काम करते हैं. तो बिल्कुल नहीं, CGPA जो है वो मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतना इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है. लेकिन मैं किसी को ये कहना भी नहीं चाहता कि वो पढ़े ना, इसका मतलब है कि मेहनत भी करे और आगे जो है वो पढ़े भी और नंबर भी अच्छे ले।
Have you encountered a situation where a candidate having a lower CGPA outperformed well than a candidate having a higher GPA?
Yeah, as I have already mentioned that I have hired almost many professionals in my career, and I think that yes, there are a few examples in my career. Yes, there were many candidates who was having less CGPA, and but they performed very well in an interview. So we assessed in an interview. We have given some sort of projects to them. As I have already mentioned in the session, that we were giving some kind of coding competition to them, and they performed very well. So we do have some kind of team building activities in the interview sessions. They did it very well. You know what is the dilemma as far as I think we talk about the particularly the tech sector. Our developer is basically an introvert. They are not extrovert. They're not focusing on the personality development overall. They're just focusing on the coding skills, the technical side. So there are the multiple sides of the candidate. Yes, it is happening right now in this era as well. Okay, there are a lot of candidates that who are performing very well on just the basis of their skills. And you know, when we talk about the skills are not only the technical skills. We do consider about the soft skills, the communication skills. And communication skill doesn't mean that how speak you very well. So you need to listen most. I think the listening skill is the most important thing for the candidate. So the overall, if we talk about, yes, candidates are performing very well in an interview, even though that they do have low CGPA, but they did it very well.
Okay. So what do you suggest? Having we as a student, we should rely more on practical skills or on GPA?
Well, I've already mentioned that I think that both things are very important. So you need to focus, being student, I think you need to focus on both stuff. You know, when we talk about the job hunting, and when we talk about the jobs, particularly in the market, it is not an easy for the fresh graduates to get the job. It's always very difficult to get the job. There is a recession, global recession, and it's also affecting our Pakistani economy as well. So I think that you need to more focus on your skills and then your CGPA. So I think whatever you want in your life, if you want to have a good job, you can get the good job. If you want to become any CEO of the company, you want to start your own company, you can do it. But both things are very important. I don't believe on one particular thing that yeah, we need to focus on the skills and the skill set of every employer, but we don't need to focus on the degrees and the CGPAs. No, we need to create a proper balance between both of them.
Okay. So have you ever hired a fresh graduate on the basis of his or her CGPA?
It's a very controversial question, by the way, but I need to answer. So yes, I did. We have hired 2-3 candidates on the basis of these things, and we had a very good experience.
Okay. So have you ever hired a person on the basis of his or her CGPA, but further he didn't perform well according to your expectations?
You have asked a very difficult question, by the way, and I think that in our practical life we do face this kind of situations as well, and there are the multiple cases that we have hired the candidates who are having a very good CGPA, but they didn't perform very well, and there are the multiple reasons. You know, candidate who was having a very good CGPA don't have any kind of exposure, don't have any kind of I must say that the practical knowledge about the things. But when they passed out from the university, they always think that he or she is a Mr. Know-all or Miss Know-all. So they consider themselves as a Superman. They said, don't guide us. We know each and everything. But unfortunately, this is a mindset. You know what they think, that's why they did not perform very well, just because of their mindset कि यार देखो हमारी जो है ना CGP हमारा तो बहुत अच्छा है, वी आर माशाल्लाह हम तो बहुत ज़बरदस्त है, हमने तो बड़ी मेहनत की है, हम तो मेहनत करके आगे आए हैं और हमें तो सब कुछ पता है। सर हमें ना बताएं कि ये कैसा है, ये ऐसा है। तो ऐसा होता है, लेकिन इसके अंदर आई थिंक दैट कि कहीं ना कहीं पेरेंटिंग उनके घर वाले उनकी तरफ से बताए, क्योंकि उनके जहन में डाल दिया जाता है कि CGPA ही सब कुछ है।
So moving towards the conclusion, we have known that CGPA and practical skills both matters equally. So at last, thank you Mr. Hassan Raza for giving us your time.
Thank you very much for providing this opportunity, and I think that it was a wonderful session. You people are doing an amazing job. I would like to thanks to your teacher as well, because I think that this assignment is very important, and no one really talk about on these controversial topics, and credit goes to you and your teacher as well, that she has assigned you a wonderful topic, and I really enjoyed the whole discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.